I should not with TikTok, with this bill here, and getting back, and all joking aside, when every all the Congress critters agree with something, we should be afraid. And the fact that this name of this app doesn't even appear in the bill, this is like, and I don't know, I haven't read it. I mean, Desiree, I'd like to hear more about what you watched on it, but it sounds to me like Patriot Act Part Two. Like,
Yeah, it is.
okay, here's this dangerous thing.
Yeah.
We're going to do all this stuff. And there's going to be unintended, well, what intended for them, but unintended.
Now we can look at your TikToks and see
There's
what you're
gonna,
looking at.
or other things. I'm sure it will have tentacles that go into other things because it always does,
Yeah.
right?
Hello. Welcome back to the Friends of Zeus podcast. This is episode 113.
Or 113 if you're nasty.
You can find us on everything. Tonight is going to be Desiree's show, and she's going to talk about the recent TikTok ban. And with that being said, Des, would you like to fill us in on your insight, your thoughts?
Yeah, sure. I'd like to start out by saying, unfortunately, today, y'all, I don't have a slideshow for you.
Oh, that's okay.
I know you shouldn't. You should be sad. But yeah. So this whole thing has been kind of blown up the news. The TikTok ban. The TikTok ban. The TikTok ban. It was a bill that it was proposed like March 27th, pretty recently. This kind of also. Do you remember back in like a couple years ago when President Trump was trying to ban TikTok?
Yeah.
And then that kind of just blew over.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to say this is an extension of that, but like similar thing. New bill, new proposal. So a lot of that's basically what everyone's hearing about. Like this is a whole act. It's got a whole thing. But it's not just TikTok. But in the media, that's what it's being spun as. It's something called the Restrict Act, which in itself I think is a little un-American. But they're basically the Senate wants to be able to give the power to the House of the Commerce section. What is that called?
Commerce.
Yeah, but like
I
that
don't
section,
know.
there's a name for it.
FCC or
No, there's like a name within the Senate.
Commerce Committee.
Yeah, that thing. The ability to review and ban certain entities, businesses, fiduciaries, holders of certain foreign adversaries, but only of like the People's Republic of China, Cuba, Korea, and there's like one more, Iran. Only those places. And they're saying it's because it has to do with security, data breaches, the data. They don't want them to have our data.
Yeah.
And so really this is catching on as a TikTok ban because it's, when you think of like it's like the fifth or third most popular app in the App Store. And it has been for quite a while, just under Meta stuff. Everyone has it. I mean, TikTok has 150 million users in the US that spend an average of 90 minutes a day on the app.
Jeez.
So that's a lot of users and a lot of time spent on this one app. So it's very popular, and so that's why it's kind of being spun as that. But I guess there was maybe, I don't know exactly when this was, but sometime maybe recently-ish, there was a Forbes journalist that somehow found out that her data was somehow received by the Chinese government via her TikTok. Just the one. Don't know. I think there's more. There's maybe 14 journalists, but that was the whole start of this. Oh my gosh, China has our data. China has our data. China has our data. What are we gonna do? What do you guys think about all that so far?
I've got a couple questions.
Yeah.
So I know about the Restrict Act that Mark Warner put forward. So this is is it looking to not allow anyone else to download the app? Is it looking to, like, they're just going to take it off everyone's phones? Is it I mean, in other words, I don't understand. And I was trying to look up, and I'm sorry, and I'm sorry, apologize to our viewer. I'm really not super well versed on this topic, so I'm kind of, which is fine. But I'm just curious, like, whether what this law is purporting to actually do. Like, what's the mechanization of it? Like,
Well, you can be fined up to $1 million and 20 years in jail
if what?
if you're found having it.
Wow, that's
I
kind of
mean, it's
crazy.
super vague.
Hold on, I'm
Yeah.
deleting it
Super
right now.
like, yeah, what are they gonna do if you already have it? Do you get grandfathered in? There has been some like people out there that are saying, oh, well, what if you use a VPN to access these? And it's not just TikTok, we'll just say that. But we're going to use TikTok because that's the easiest thing to use an example. But if you use a VPN to access TikTok, what about that? Is that using like a workaround and therefore accessing the banned thing? And so is that punishable also? And by what? Like what's the ramification?
And are they looking to ban this off of like government phones and computers, or
So
Absolutely.
they
or
already have
individual
taken it.
citizens?
So they already have taken it off government and school, like university issued devices, which to be honest, good, because if you have a government or university issued device, you need to get the fuck off social media on that. Get your own shit if that's what you want to use it for.
Yeah.
But no, this is for the everyday American person. No
So
TikTok for you.
so there's, I mean, I'm super conflicted. I mean, one, I just don't like bans on anything, just the knee-jerk reaction. I don't, again, I'm sorry, I don't fully understand like how this law, it hasn't passed yet, right?
No, it was just
It's not law
introduced. Mm-mm.
in the Senate by Warner. I thought there
So
was a
I have
Republican co-sponsor with it, but I'm not
The
sure.
weird thing about this is like a bipartisan thing. Like everybody, there was not one person, and I don't remember if it was like the whole Senate. Couldn't have been the whole Senate because I don't think there was 100 and something people doing this hearing, or if it was
Everyone, half
just
the
like the
people are
community.
in institutions. Yeah.
Huh?
Well, no, I mean, you've got like Fetterman and Feinstein
Yeah, they
and
weren't there. I don't know.
and
Maybe it was just like
Dick
the
Dick
Congress
Durbin broke his
people.
femur. I mean, like, their senators are dropping like flies, man. They're
so
not even there.
I have thoughts on this, and that is that now you can go to Instagram, you can go to Facebook, you can go to Twitter, all these American owned companies that have very similar distraction kind of oriented clips. So my thinking is that probably those guys got together and said, we don't need this fucking TikTok taking our information and sending it to China. We'll take their information and use it right here in the good old US of A.
Well, they're already
That's
doing
what
that.
I think is.
They're already doing that. They don't need.
They
don't need to also be in the
if you
TikTok
can,
users.
if you can get rid of 100% of the competition just by making a law that says China owns it, so let's get rid of it. Why wouldn't you? You've got the same product on platforms that are already being used.
Mm-hmm.
That's my thinking. That's what
Well,
I think is going.
I don't think so, but I also don't think that you're wrong either. I would not be surprised if Mark Zuckerberg had a little bit of a, lobby money in this because of course, because TikTok is better than Instagram and Facebook. Of course that's like his number one competitor. Of course he's gonna try to knock him out.
I think a lot, and again, I'm not as up on the ban, but I'm pretty familiar with TikTok just as a social societal thing. So the issue is it is managed and owned and was started by a company that has not just close ties with the Chinese Communist government, but is basically an arm of the Chinese Communist government. So you've got this, tech firm basically that's collecting, and as you all know, I mean, I don't use a lot of social media, but Instagram and Facebook and
That's because they won't have you.
that's exact. I get kicked off of them. YouTube, TikTok, they collect data from the users. Again, the idea is that it's for advertising purposes, but the knock on TikTok is that this company and directly to the CCP is collecting all this data on individual Americans, like by name, what their preferences are, what they like. I mean, you can do a lot of psychological, analysis on somebody if you're looking at like 30 days of their TikTok. And I did look into some of this a few months ago, and I was reading this thing, and again, I don't have a source, and you guys probably know more about this than me. But the one thing I found interesting was TikTok in China. If you're in China and you're on TikTok, it's totally different than
it's like playing the violin.
No, it's a whole ass different app. It's Douyin.
There's limits on the amount of time kids can use it. Like a lot of times you're seeing like historians and fine artists and culturally significant things, whereas in the United States, people are like picking their nose and putting Mentos up their butt or whatever. I'm saying it's a whole different.
Hey, you ever put a Mentos in a Coke bottle? Thing.
Mentos in Coke bottles. I'm saying there is, and that is alarming. Again, the whole thing that we've learned with social media over the last 20 years is it's not free. You are the product. If you're not paying anything, then you are the product. Yeah. And to have like your 10-year-old on TikTok going through scroll, there are things to be gleaned from that. And who is taking that information and for what purpose? So these are legitimate concerns. But going back to the Restrict Act, I have to go back to the late great Ron Smith, who I've mentioned a few times, radio host up in Baltimore, died 12 years ago. But he used to say, he's like, anytime all of the Congress critters agree on something, it means you're getting fucked. Like, it means it's bad. Like, if they all agree on it, that's bad for you. And that's kind of, with this legislation, everyone's gung-ho for it, and that makes me pause. Even though I'm completely ignorant about it, it still makes me pause.
I'm actually on board with this one.
I'm not on board with it. But let me just read you what, like, on the actual bill, Senate Bill 686 is what it is. Let me just read how vague as fuck this is. All right. To authorize the Secretary of Commerce to review and prohibit certain transactions between persons in the United States and foreign adversaries, and for other purposes.
Yeah. So here's the other thing, Desiree.
Please finish the sentence, Senate. What is the purpose of what?
Nowhere in, and I just, again, I know enough to be dangerous about this, but nowhere in the bill do they mention TikTok.
No, TikTok's not mentioned in the bill, but it is.
But I mean, it's sort of like with the DeSantis, with the parental rights bill in Florida, where everyone called it like the "Don't Say Gay" bill, even though that was never mentioned. I mean, again, there is reality, and then there is marketing, and this is being marketed as a TikTok.
That's why I said, if you watch the news, social media, it's TikTok ban. That's because that is it. TikTok is a subsidiary. Yes. Of ByteDance. So let's take a little bit of a lesson here, because I learned a lot of this when I watched that. By the way, for the listener out there, I took the liberty upon myself and took all the pain away from y'all, and I watched the whole ass 6-hour recording of this congressional hearing. Okay, I did it.
Congratulations.
Marathoned it. I watched it.
Popcorn?
Man, no. But it was a little painful, but also it was informative and weird in different ways that we'll talk about.
Preach.
But anyway,
sister.
So
yeah.
But TikTok is actually a Singaporean company. It was founded in Singapore. It was started in Singapore. Whatever. In 2015, and it was actually started. It was called Musically or something like that. and people, post videos of themselves like lip syncing or some shit. I don't know. But it was getting popular, and so ByteDance, which is the Chinese company, the parent tech company, purchased it and renamed it TikTok. And then put some of their like algorithm, machine learning into it and launched it as TikTok.
Great name, by the way.
I kind of thought it was a stupid name when it first came out.
I know, but the fact that like time goes by, like, I mean, because people can just spend hours on it.
That's a great way. That's a great thought.
I don't know. I thought it was a good name.
Yeah. Well, now I'm looking at it differently now.
Yeah, every time I hear it, I start thinking to the TikTok, you don't stop. Like that.
Well, yeah, you don't stop. You be scrolling.
You know what, honestly, I don't use it. I've got it, and every once in a while I'll check it out, but I tend to use Instagram and Facebook Reels when I need the distractions, which I don't really need.
Gen Xer.
Yeah. You're of the old. I don't use it because I don't know, man. I don't know why. It's not like I haven't made a decision not to. I just haven't. It's like it's for the same reason I don't drive a Ferrari. I just haven't. I don't not want to. I just haven't. It's the same reason.
Money could be a thing.
Money could be a thing.
Could be, but it might also not be.
It may not be.
We don't know.
But it is. But okay. Here's the thing with TikTok. So it is not with TikTok, with this bill here, and getting back, and all joking aside, when all the Congress critters agree with something, we should be afraid. And the fact that this name of this app doesn't even appear in the bill, this is like, and I don't know, I haven't read it. I mean, Desiree, I'd like to hear more about what you watched on it, but it sounds to me like Patriot Act Part 2. Like, yeah,
it is.
Okay, here's this dangerous thing. Yeah. We're going to do all this stuff, and there's going to be unintended, what intended for them, but unintended.
Now we can look at your TikToks and see what you're looking at.
Or other things. I'm sure it will have tentacles that go into other things because it always does, right? So, on its face, if I had to flip a coin or if I had to decide, I'd be like, no. Like, I just don't like giving that amount of power away. Like, I cannot use TikTok. I can have my children not use TikTok.
Yeah.
If you don't want people to use it, spend some marketing money, convince people not to. But having the iron fist of Washington come down, it's messy. It's not precise. Washington and these bills are never precise. They're always heavy-handed. So I'd like to know what are the other repercussions, and I'm sure there are.
So let me just read to you some of the other
we lost Zeus.
Well, he'll be back. Let me just tell you. So what this is, the things that they're going to be, this when they say an entity or a foreign adversary, this is what they mean. A firm, a labor union, a fraternal organization, a partnership, a trust, a joint venture, a corporation, a group, subgroup, or other association or organization where whether or not the organization has profited. So that's why TikTok is in this, because it is a subgroup, I guess, a subsidiary of ByteDance, which is a Chinese company. So these, like I already said, so it's the Republic of China, People's Republic of China, the Republic of Cuba, Iran, Korea. It doesn't say North or South. It just says the People's Republic of Korea. Is that North Korea?
I think so. Yeah, the People's Republic of Korea.
Yeah. The Russian Federation and Venezuela are the only foreign, adversaries that are under, investigation that could be, according to this bill. The things that it lists specifically in here that could be under fire are, you ready for this one?
Yeah.
Okay. So, software, hardware, or any other product or service integral to telecommunication products and services, including wireless local area networks, mobile networks, satellite payloads, satellite operation and control, cable access points, wireline access points, core networking systems, long, short, and backhaul networks, edge computer platforms, which I don't know what that is, internet hosting services, cloud-based or distributing cloud-based or distributed computing and data storage, machine learning products, managed services. I don't know what that means. Content delivery services. So therefore, ByteDance is a content delivery service. Internet or network enabled sensors, webcams, endpoint surveillance or monitoring devices. This could include things like unmanned vehicles, including drones and other aerial systems, autonomous or semi-autonomous vehicles, software designed or used primarily for connecting with and communicating via the internet that is used by greater than 1 million persons in the United States. Desktop applications, mobile applications, gaming applications, payment applications, web-based applications, artificial intelligence or machine learning, quantum key distribution, quantum communications, quantum computing, post-quantum cryptography, autonomous systems, advanced robotics, biotechnology, synthetic biotechnology, and computational biology.
And so for
It's a
all
lot
those
of
things you
things.
listed, these are things that they're looking to regulate or be able to have power
If
to restrict.
Yes, if those are Chinese or, North
Oh,
Korean or
copy.
Cuban companies. So like,
Gotcha.
okay, you remember the game Pokemon Go?
Yeah.
Okay, that was
Yes.
by Niantic. That's a China. I believe it's a Chinese company.
I actually played a game on that was the same thing as Pokemon Go. It just didn't have all the fluffy animals. I think it was called Invictus or something. Yeah, and it was basically like GPS tracking,
Yeah,
like
so
it knew where
that, I
people.
mean,
Yeah.
granted, if this was, 8 years ago, it would have been the Pokemon Go ban,
Yeah.
not the TikTok ban.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I have to be I have to be against this, man. Like I just don't look, I don't trust the federal government. They've given me no reason to, and I don't need other people thinking for me. And I don't need other people thinking for my fellow citizens. And if this is so bad, then like I said, have a marketing campaign and educate people. But I don't like the idea
Or
of
have
giving this.
definitive proof that it is insidious.
But
Yeah,
I
And
that's
don't.
what I was gonna say. Like,
Yeah,
Mike, you were talking about how, the Chinese government's getting like, how do you know that?
yeah.
Like, how do we
What?
really know that?
What about the Chinese government having like input or being able to harvest data from this?
Yeah, because as far as we know,
Yeah.
14 people, 14 out of the whole ass America, their data got breached.
So here's the thing, and
that
you're
could be hackers.
but listen,
And
Desiree,
that
it's a
could be
fair
hackers. We don't know.
it's a fair point, right? So it's unnamed sources, which I always rail against. But in general, the way the CCP works, and has been working for decades now, is U.S. companies that want to do business in China, they have to make certain constellation, certain agreements that allow the Chinese to have access to their technology, and they're not subject to our trademark laws, so they steal it. So there is a long history, I'm talking decades long, of a business and Chinese government like intertwinedness, right? And you get to the point where we already know in social media that there is a lot of data, even by Mark Zuckerberg and Bezos and all these other companies, that is being harvested again for the reason for what they say for advertisement. I mean, you mentioned, oh man, I'm looking, I want to, hey Zeus, I want to get a new hat. And then on my phone, I start seeing advertisements for hats, right? We already know this sort of stuff goes on. So it's naive to think that that data is not being collected. I mean, we are in our own government right now. We knew this through what's his face, the guy from 10 years, Snowden. The government's not collecting, our government. They're not collecting little things here or there. They're collecting everything. They're collecting everything. So I get it, but the whole thing is you have to be a knowledgeable consumer, right? I mean, there's that there's things that are being tracked. I don't need Washington putting their thumb on the scale, with this act forbidding, and again, government likes to forbid you from doing things, and they like to mandate that you do things. I don't like either one of those two things.
Well,
I don't need the government to protect me from TikTok. I can
yeah,
do that
yeah,
myself.
right. I d- I just think that, that's so, I don't want to say un-American, but it really is. I mean, yeah, let's ban shit
Yeah.
that could potentially be harmful because of X, Y, and Z, which is
According to who?
not even what the bill is about. This is about data breaching, but we'll get to that in a second. Meta and Google do the same exact shit. Even it's been proven worse that their algorithms are a lot different than TikTok's in in a sense. We can
Would
get
you
to that.
say
They're
more
different.
insidious?
No, I would say that they're more they're a lot
Focus?
more personalized, as in if I want to watch cat videos, I can watch 18,000 cat videos and TikTok will just keep giving them to me. But the thing about it is the way, psychology works, you're like dopamine hit, dopamine hit, dopamine hit, dopamine. Oh, that wasn't a dopamine hit. Okay, that wasn't a dopamine hit either. But maybe the next one will be. Oh yeah, it was okay. I'll keep going. I'll keep going.
Well,
Oh shit, I didn't get a dopamine hit.
Yeah.
they say
Where's my
that
next
there's
dopamine? And that's what the doom scroll is. And that's the piece of it that TikTok has perfected, is the dopamine hits and how psychology plays into that. Because I mean, if they just fed me cat videos upon cat videos and never stopped the dopamine hit, I'd get fucking bored of cat videos,
yeah,
But somehow they throw into this or that or the third, which I'm like, stupid, stupid, stupid. That's how they've been able to create this like laser focused view into you and
data
have
mining.
all of this, like, you talk about a rabbit hole, that's like an Alice in Wonderland rabbit hole.
Can
Like,
I ask
on
a
TikTok.
question as someone that doesn't use TikTok? Is there advertising on TikTok?
There is advertising, but you can skip them. I mean, it's an ad. You just skip it. I mean, it's not
Okay.
like on YouTube how you have to
Yeah,
watch
there's
it
little
for so
options
long
like
before you can skip it. You can skip it.
Gotcha.
It's just
You
boom,
can skip
boom,
right
boom.
past it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there's little like on TikTok, there's little like one will pop up, and if you tap this portion of the screen, you can actually buy the product that they're advertising. Yeah, I mean it's clever. It's certainly clever.
I mean, if you ask me like what I'm concerned about,
But hold on, before we get into it,
yeah,
this is not
sorry.
even what this bill is about. I'm just going to put this out there.
Yeah,
This shit is not what this bill is about. This is about data breaching, whatever the fucking data that they say is being breached. Because
Okay.
I don't know about y'all, but I could give two fucks what Meta has, what ByteDance has, what whoever Google has about what I like and don't like. I don't care. Because even if they were going to try to send me some propaganda, I'm pretty good at deciding that's propaganda or that's stupid, that's not stupid, that's real, that's not real. Oh, that could be real. Let me go check some sources. Oh, that's fake as fuck. Okay. Like, I'm pretty good. My brain's pretty good at
Savvy.
that.
Yeah.
I know most people, some people cannot do that, and that's the dangerous part of it. But like, so I mean,
how
that's
about
the danger of
kids,
the
though?
internet. That's the danger of the internet. So
Right.
parent your kids. That's not
Yeah, let's be
that's not
frank.
TikTok's fault. You know what I mean? Like,
And the internet is only in the scheme of the world. It's a drop in the bucket time wise as far as the internet. I would say that probably by the 90s, most people have personal computers at home. So what? That's 30 years. I mean, it's nothing in the grand scheme of things. And we're barely touching what will be able to affect us in the long run. Do you remember when they were talking? I want to say it wasn't imminent domain, but it was a very similar term, but it was with the internet. I'll bet Mike knows what it is.
What are we talking about?
Where the providers of internet were saying that we're going to control what like a pipeline of what information
Net neutrality.
net neutrality, yes.
Which is
And
basically Well, yes and no. I mean, net neutrality was more about how internet service providers, depending on how much you paid and how much content providers paid them, they could throttle the speed of the service. They could control the levers of, if you're on this site, it's coming to you really fast, but if you're on this other site, they could slow it down. If you are on this plan, they can like slow down what your reception is. For it's all about that stuff. So you would have an issue of these large media corporations that had a ton of influence. Their speeds would be very quick, but if you were like Joe Blow, they may throttle your service down where people are like, dude, this is slow. I'm like in
Yeah, like
1995
if
here. What
Verizon
am I
didn't play
doing?
friendly with Yahoo, then Yahoo would come in
What
slow.
what have you? So the whole idea is like net neutrality is saying basically the proponents of net neutrality are saying everyone should have an equal bite of the apple. And the service providers are saying, hey, we paid for all this infrastructure. We should be able to decide. We should be able to charge and provide service at different speeds and access accordingly. Like, in other words, that Verizon and Comcast, that these are the gatekeepers. They're not just a utility like your electric company. Like, your electric company doesn't throttle down what your electric service is.
Oh, they
Um,
do. They
but
can.
they do
You
they
have that
do if
little
you
thermostat
it,
that, you know.
if you opt into it.
Hmm.
Yes, they do do that now. But anyway,
But
not to
isn't there
get off
different
into.
service tiers on like internet plans? This is a tangent, but
Correct.
so
Yes.
yeah. So for example, we have AT&T and we have like the fiber optic internet,
Hmm.
which
Yeah.
is a lot more than just whatever the regular internet. I don't know. I don't
It's
know what it would
fast.
be called, but I mean, the cost is there's a cost change. But
Hmm.
even if it was the fiber optic, if it was like Cox Communications has, which is the worst name in the world, but it has like they have like their 100 bytes or 100 gigs internet, and they have like the 50 gig internet, and then they have like the 75 and the ultra fast like speeds of internet tiers. Yeah, tiers
Yeah.
of internet speeds. Isn't that the same
Yeah,
thing?
I don't think
Because you are paying a
I don't
different.
think
I think the whole concept of net neutrality comes not from the user side, but from the content provider side. In other words,
yeah.
if Friends of Zeus podcast isn't playing ball and Verizon's like, you know what, anyone that's watching Friends of Zeus podcast, it's going to be at this rate. But people that are watching Joe Rogan, who's got an office next door to ours, it's going to be at a much faster rate because he's paying more, he's bringing in more advertising or what have you. It's
Gotcha.
about having an equal playing field. It's not about the consumer end
Oh, okay.
of like what you're paying to get
Oh,
to it. It's about
okay.
restricting
But I don't
content
think these
providers.
things are exclusive of each other. The whole TikTok thing and net neutrality. I think there is a
Maybe they're
common
like building
bond
blocks.
between.
I
Like,
mean,
Yeah.
here's the thing. The promise of the internet, and I think we can remember this. I mean, when in the late 90s and the early 2000s, the internet really was like the Wild West. I mean, there was
It still is.
nah, it's a little different. I'm just saying things were, the promise was it was completely egalitarian. Like whatever anyone wanted to put up would roll. But again, this is a nice lesson that we talk about a lot on this podcast. It's entropy. Everything decays over time, and power begets more power, and people that have power will pull more into themselves and restrict it for other people. And we've seen that happen with the internet. Again, in 1998, you could start a website. I mean, again, I don't know if you guys ever gone to zombo.com. I think it's still up. It's a hilarious website. Um, People were like sharing, again, the beginning of cat videos, just stupid stuff. I mean, it was like
E-bombs
exciting and
world.
fun. Yeah, people. Yes, there was a website called Something Awful. There's all these cool sites, and everything was chill and cool and funny and humorous. And now it's dark and AI and TikTok, and we're having like congressional bills and stuff coming out. I mean, I'm saying it's in a microcosm, it's a perfect example of what human behavior takes good things and crushes them under the weight of power. It's what happened. The internet today is not what the internet was 30 years
Mm-mm.
ago. It's a whole different planet.
Oh, no, not at all. Well,
So
go ahead.
go ahead now.
Oh, I was just gonna say, for me, the internet back in the 90s was waiting 17 minutes to see the picture of the naked girl that
Of course it was.
downloaded.
Yeah, of course it was.
Yeah.
And
That was
now
Probably still is.
it's like, well, yeah, pretty much. But now it's like it's everywhere. It's a very, for
Can't
me,
even
with
pay your damn bills unless you have internet access.
well, I mean, I gotta, right? There's certain things that you really, and it's even worse. It's like click and forget, like my electric bill. That's all online. I never even see my electric bill unless I get an email from them saying, hey, you owe money, but I don't because I have it connected to my account. And it's a weird place. And that whole social credit system is feeling more and more like it's creeping into our homes all the time. You know, how many bills do you pay online, Mike?
all of them.
You ever send a check in the mail? You even have a
No,
checkbook?
I
I have a
do.
checkbook and it's to pay my condo fee because they're right across the street from me.
Yeah, I might have a checkbook, and the reason I have it is to pay for like shit at Drake's school, like t-shirts and
Yeah.
pictures,
Yeah.
not even anything really important, but that's why I have it.
Like I said,
It's going to be interesting to see what goes on with. I looked into it because we were talking about maybe doing a show on it. This whole the Fed wants to, and this is not necessarily true, but they were talking about how the Fed wants to go to cryptocurrency and destroy the dollar bill. It sounds like that's a bit nonsense, but
where it's going.
Yeah, considering that crypto's under fire with the Restrict Act, I don't know how the fuck we're gonna do that, but go ahead.
I got a bunch of crypto that I really hope makes me some money before it goes out. But I actually see crypto. I don't think that that's a very unrealistic perspective that they go away from the dollar bill. We're still gonna want to hold, like, as humans, I think that aesthetically we find it pleasing to hold things, to feel them. Like some people still read books in book form. It's a lot less, but I think that's there. The one that always bothers me is like my 13-year-old only learned cursive because he goes to Polish school on Saturdays. But otherwise, they don't even teach, as far as I understand, cursive in
My
a lot of
son
the schools.
he got taught cursive.
Yeah, but like we're getting rid of a lot of our old standards.
But like, why do you need to know that though? Like, really, when's the last time you wrote a cursive word?
I know it's going to sound weird. I don't know how to put it, but I think you got to just keep some of those visceral things real, because if you don't, then you become more susceptible to the digital answer to that.
Yeah, but stuff like that, it's like, what if they were still teaching you how to churn butter?
Well,
Relevant not anymore.
we've lost the language of Sanskrit. We are all these ancient languages that perhaps if they had expanded them further, we would still have them. So losing cursive is, as silly as it sounds, maybe quite big.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Let's circle back.
But I do think, I mean, just on this point, I do believe that the idea that human culture is on this continuum of increase in positivity and advancement is a lie, right? So
absolutely.
There's a cost for everything. And getting back to like cryptocurrency, whether it's crypto, whether it's whatever, look, we're already off the dollar. Like people get direct deposit, it goes into their account. I mean, how much do you really touch the money that you make? Almost
Dude, I got
never.
like $19 in my wallet, and it's only
Right.
because for some reason I had to have cash.
But
And
what
I
I'm
just
saying is it's digital. It goes from your paycheck into your bank account. You pay it out from there. The whole idea of getting rid of cash in general is the tyrant's wet dream, because once you have everything be cashless, then they have control over the flow of money. It's like the whole
and
thing
you
with
know what? Honestly, to your point, and to get back to TikTok,
yeah.
that could be one of the concerns, is that if they have access to a large portion of our information, who's to say that if we went to a digital currency, that they wouldn't be able to access that as well with us giving our information? Again, I understand what you're saying as far as I don't like things being banned, but I am actually kind of on board with the largest force in the world right now, which is easily can be argued as China, having that much access.
But
So
there's other
granted,
ways
I
to deal
don't
with
wait,
it.
well, hold on. I don't trust Instagram and Snapchat and Facebook and all the things that we have here, but at least they're, in our home. Like
I,
They're doing
I
the
don't know,
same
man.
you know
thing,
what I
just
mean?
here.
Yeah, I just don't think that the answer is like, why is the answer always like, I have to lose liberty? Like, why is that the answer all the time?
And why
I
does it
I just
matter if
reject
China
that.
knows that you like cat videos? I mean,
And if you're
honestly,
worried about it, then don't use TikTok.
why
I
are
mean,
you
that's
putting, here's the deal. Why are you putting information that you wouldn't want people to know? Your credit
out
card
there.
information, your phone number, your address, your birthday, whatever it is, out there.
Wait, come on. You don't have something that you pay online that all your credit card
I'm not
information
talking
pops
about
up?
that. I'm talking about Facebook. My phone number is not on Facebook. I don't have Facebook Pay or whatever because I'm not putting my credit card in that shit. Um, you, whatever. I don't have a
But you
lot
have
of
Google.
information on there. Yeah, I do have Google,
Yeah, but
not Meta.
but you have Google, and
Mhm.
Google does Instagram and
No, Meta does
YouTube.
Instagram.
Okay. My point being is that Google has access to these other places that you could purchase,
Right.
and they've got access to your purchasing information. I'm not disagreeing with the whole we shouldn't ban things. I just happen to think in this particular case that China is sketchy on that. And I'm not talking about the people, I'm talking about the government and the influence that they have in the world. I'm
Well,
actually
maybe
on board with this one.
if you're concerned about that, maybe we should look into their influence on our the person that's in the White House right now, which
And
is
you expect me
demonstrated.
to disagree with you?
No, I'm not. I'm just saying it was a rhetorical question. I'm saying people that,
Oh, it's far
everyone
from
that's like for
rhetorical with
this.
you.
No, I'm saying people that are for this Restrict Act and can't say something about the obvious proven influence of the CCP on the person occupying our White House right now is
I
hilarious
completely
to me.
I
agree.
just want to know what would happen if the CCP had your information. What would
No, I
happen?
got you, Des.
I
I
just
got
don't
you. Like I said, I'm not.
who
I
cares?
would look. You know who concerns me
Well, you know
more
what?
than the
Here's
CCP?
wait, my I'm
Washington
sorry,
D.C.
my answer. I'm sorry. My answer to that is if they want it, clearly there's value.
But they don't
Hey,
even
that's a nice mug you
they
have
don't
there,
even
Mike.
really want it.
What is
I'm
that
just
mug?
This is my Friends of Zeus podcast mug,
what I'm
and I
saying
will
is like
$100.
$15 on eBay.
hold on,
$100.
150, 150,
Yeah.
150. What I'm saying is why okay, if you're a government personnel, okay, maybe you would be worried about, China being able to access your phone stuff. Maybe okay, I could understand that. But like I just don't understand the CCP doesn't, how do you even know that they want your information?
Okay,
Just because they
here,
have the ability to get it, why do they,
here's the thing, Desiree.
I
Like,
just don't,
do you know who Eric Swalwell is?
no,
He's a
That
Congress
son of a
critter.
bitch.
I
He's a
don't know this.
he's a Congress critter. He's a Democrat from California, House of Representatives.
Mhm.
He was on like the January 6th committee. He hates Trump, whatever. I'm not even talking about all that stuff. He was targeted by the CCP when he was, I'm not sure exactly what position he held, but he wasn't even in Congress yet. He was just like a town councilman or something
Mhm.
like that in Bumblefuck, California.
Mhm.
And the
That's not a real
CCP,
city.
yeah, the CCP was like what they've been doing. And again, this is not me saying this. This
Mhm.
you can look it up.
No, I
They
want to
have
know like what would
they
happen.
have so they have gone, not just he's one example, but over decades they have gone into local towns and counties and targeted up and coming charming uh people that have backing, like people that look like they're going to go places in politics, and they target them and get compromising information either by having, you know, prostitutes, or, you know, bugging their houses, or getting them to commit things that are not entirely legal so that they have some leverage over them, in the hope that if they do advance and become, you know, national politicians, that they could have some sway over them. And this
Okay.
has been shown with Swalwell. He had a Chinese, their equivalent of CIA, this lady who was basically a spy who had an affair, or he had an affair with her. Um, they've got all kinds of information on him. And if you look at his voting record, he never votes for anything that's against the CCP, and he's still in Congress today. And I'm saying, but this has happened writ large over the whole country. Like this has been a decades long push by then. So to your point, it's like, yes, do they care about what Michael's doing on TikTok? No. Do they care what Zeus or Desiree? No. But it's just like the thing that we learned with Snowden. They collect all the information. They don't care. They don't give a shit. But if
It's
Michael
kind of like
Wilkes
what you were saying,
decides that
Twig,
he
about
wants to run for the House of Representatives in my county, or if I want to do whatever, then all of a sudden they have all this information they can pull from,
Mhm.
and they can put out. I mean, that's the idea. I mean, if you're asking, I'm saying that's the
No,
idea.
that's
It's
what I'm
not
asking. I'm like, I just don't understand. Like, what would they do with it? Like,
well, if
if
I
because
may,
they
I
won't
think
do
it
anything with it if you don't do anything. But if you become a certain level, or if they want to, then they can target. I'm saying this is the idea, you know. And again, look up Eric Swalwell. This is
okay.
well documented.
Well,
well
but that was even
mm,
before TikTok was a thing.
Correct.
So
Correct.
that proves that if they want it, they gonna get it. I mean,
Correct.
TikTok or no TikTok,
well
cap or ski or no cap or
here's
ski.
Kaspersky.
here's
Yeah.
my
Edit that one.
my reaction to what Mike said is, Mike, I think maybe last week or the week before, you said, what was it? Find me the crime and I'll find you the guy, or
No, find me the guy and I'll show you the crime.
right.
Yeah.
So
So it's
in
Stalin's
that
Barrow, whatever. Yeah.
so that being said, they collect the again, I'm not like, I don't really give a shit if TikTok stays, because like you, I don't even use it. I just don't use it. I check it every once in a while to see how our show is doing on it. But outside of that, I don't really use it. But again, what was it? Say it again. Find me the
No, no, show me the man, I'll show you the crime.
right. So that is where it becomes concerning, is if Facebook has that Mike only looks at girls with chunky ass videos,
Okay.
whatever, and then Mike decides to go into politics. Well, no, I mean,
Yeah, no, I
this
got
is
you.
real.
No, this is
I'm
what I'm
busting your
talking about.
balls, but and then you decide to go into politics or school district, something even lower. They can use
Dude,
that to manipulate.
look, it's more insidious than that. So say you have a 10-year-old child and they're on TikTok and they're like scrolling, and this data is getting collected. And then say you work for the State Department and say your kid grows up, they go to school at George Washington University in Washington, D.C. And the CCP knows that that is a child of someone that works for the State Department. So they have someone on the inside. They have an operative. This is
About
not
vulnerabilities.
this is the way the world works. And so they know that Joe Blow, Zeus's kid, Joe Blow, really loves motocross or whatever. So when they go to the cop, they're like, "Hey man, I'm really into motocross." Hey, and they strike up, and it's an in. That's all. I mean, this is the
That's where I
practical
have a problem with
implication. And
TikTok.
but what I'm saying is like romper room. Like what I'm saying is Sesame Street. Like I'm not sophisticated in this stuff. I'm just pointing out very like what I'm talking about is written in crayon. What they're doing is precise. It's stuff I don't even
Etched in
understand.
stone.
So
But data is everything. Data is
right.
everything.
So then what if
I'll
I
be right
told
back.
you that the data that is stored, that is American user data, is actually stored on the Oracle thing, whatever program, not program, network, whatever it's called. Servers. Yeah, by Oracle.
I mean, I know Oracle is a
Not access.
company.
Yeah, in Texas. It's in Texas. It's an American company.
Well,
TikTok has headquarters in Los Angeles and somewhere else here.
Well, this has been something, and we've talked about this on previous episodes, where a lot of this data is being housed by private companies, and the federal government gets around a lot of laws by purchasing this material from these companies. So it's not the government spying on you. The government
but TikTok doesn't
purchasing
sell it.
this.
I mean, I don't know if they do. Their claim is that TikTok does not sell their.
Maybe not.
Maybe they do. I don't know. But on face value, they don't sell it.
Here's the thing, and I think you and I agree on this. It's like the media has been like, look, I'm no fan of TikTok. I'm no fan of the CCP, but the media is like TikTok, TikTok, TikTok. It's China, it's China, it's China. It's bad, it's bad, it's bad. And they're getting everyone to run in one direction. But meanwhile, the law they're drafting is not just focused on TikTok. It has this huge, broad reach to it that no one's talking about. And that's what they always do, right? They say, "Hey, here, look at this shiny thing over here." Meanwhile, they pass this law that is this huge, encompassing thing. Again, like the Patriot Act. It's the same thing. It's like, oh, you don't want terrorists blowing up buildings. Well, you should support if you don't support the Patriot Act, then you're for terrorists. And meanwhile, it got into the point where they're like listening in on U.S. citizens' phone calls if they're within 2 degrees of someone that they deem to be a foreign agent. Exactly. I mean, no one talked about that in 2002. No one talked about that.
So go ahead.
No. That was it.
So I think we can all agree that we think that this bill is shit. It's garbage. It's too much. It's too much of an oversee. Like it's censorship. It's if you want to put yourself at risk, that's your freedom as an American. I guess. But circling back to this congressional hearing, because
I want to hear more about this. Please tell me.
I almost was in your shoes, and then I watched this hearing. And then my whole view, I'm kind of like, first of all, I don't even know what the hearing was held for, like what the purpose was of the hearing. I don't know. Even after watching it, I don't know what the fuck they were supposed to be talking about.
Was it open floor debate on the Senate? About the bill?
I wouldn't call it a debate.
Okay.
It was a
discussion.
Congressional hearing. The CEO of TikTok, Shu Cho, was present.
Okay, so you watch. Okay, I only saw like a few minutes of that. So you watched that whole thing. Yeah, he was giving testimony.
Yeah, over what I don't know, because again, his company is not directly involved. I think that, like you were saying, this is the micro focus of the media, but a bigger picture is being covered up, because this was absurd. Okay, the way that this, and again, I don't think it was all members of the Senate. I don't know if it was just like the Secretary of the Commerce, that group or whatever, but it was a lot of people, okay, a lot of chairs of stuff, and they were each given 5 minutes to
Mhm.
state their case, talk,
Mhm.
talk at you. I don't really know what, again, I don't know what the purpose of the hearing was.
I think it was like to information gathering. Like they wanted to ask
Okay.
him questions. They wanted to get data so they could be informed to vote on this
Okay.
bill,
Okay. So
basically.
I could see that. But after watching it, I'm like, wow, I'm actually a little bit embarrassed um of our senators, because the way that they were extremely disrespectful to this man.
Hmm.
And he never lost his shit. I would have been, there's about 14 times I'd been like, y'all are fucking stupid. Shut up. I've answered this question. Like, he never lost composure. He was very respectful. He had answers to the questions. There were a few things that he didn't want to answer. Like, he was not going to share his how much money he makes from TikTok. He was not going to share his salary with the American government because he doesn't have to.
I'm sure it was a bazillion
Right.
dollars.
Yeah, and he respectfully answered the question. I mean, there was there's no need for the people, the Congress members, to have treated him this way, number one. Number two, if they were supposed to be information gathering, I couldn't tell, because when you ask somebody a question, you hope that you would get the answer right and not cut that person off and say, "Oh, well, I'm reclaiming my time and it's up, so
Yeah.
we're not going to talk
Yeah.
about it."
Yeah. No, exactly. And a lot of
What?
these hearings, no, a lot of these hearings, again, the whole social media and TikTok culture, these Congress critters, they're looking for clicks. They're looking for videos to be able to post. So they're looking for like the quick 30-second, thing that
Yeah,
they can post on their own.
on their own TikToks.
Yeah,
You
they're
know.
not looking to be informed. They're looking to stick it to
No, because
somebody.
there was
And
maybe
that
a couple of them that had sincerity in the questions that they asked and
Yeah,
actually wanted to hear the answer.
every once in a while.
And
Yeah.
nobody took notes. That Shu was fucking taking notes. He was taking notes, taking notes, taking notes. I didn't see one note being taken by a senator. Um, Also, some of the questions, by their own nature, were fucking idiotic. Like, I cannot believe you just asked that question. Are you stupid? Like, what?
Yeah.
Doesn't
Well,
even make sense. I'm gonna play. This is not a video call because I didn't want to mess with it.
no,
But
I want
like,
you to talk more about this because you spent 5 hours. I want
I
to
know I'm
listen.
gonna play it because they're comical. They are comical at how stupid they are. And if I can find, eh.
I think this all goes back to, again, while you're getting that set up, I think really that probably TikTok is going to be relatively banned. They obviously will not be able to get rid of it. It's too much part of the zeitgeist. But I'm sure that your Zuckerbergs and even Elon Musk, who I respect, are all about, yeah, get rid of our biggest competitor. We want to have reels on Facebook and we want to have videos on Instagram. They'd rather have those, which they control, than a foreign influence being able to take the information that they want. It's not a
Maybe.
matter of the information is different. It's just a matter of who gets the information.
Mhm.
And right now in the US, that's going to be like your Bill Gates, your Elon Musks, your whoever owns Google, YouTube, those things. I feel like, okay, I'm actually fine with that. Like I at least it's at home. At least
Okay,
we can attack, you know?
but can we? Because it just keeps. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna play the soundbite, and
Yes.
I just want to see what your face looks like after this.
Specifically, can you tell me right now, can you say with 100% certainty that TikTok does not use the phone's camera to determine whether the content that elicits a pupil dilation should be amplified by the algorithm? Can you tell me that?
We do not collect body, face, or voice data to identify our users. We do not.
You don't?
The only face data that you'll get that we collect is when you use the filters to have, say, sunglasses on your face. We need to know where your eyes are.
Why do you need to know what the eyes are if you're not?
Because they're sunglasses. That's why you need to know where their eyes are.
Man, that's creepy though.
Hold on. Wait, hold on.
On your local
The
device.
sunglasses could be a Trojan horse.
It doesn't even store it stores it on your device. It does not store it on a server.
But it could do
Again,
this.
we do not collect body, face, or voice data to identify our users.
I find that hard to believe. It's our understanding that they're looking at the eyes. How do you determine what age they are then?
Why are you looking at someone's eyes to determine how old they are? Why is that a question? Is that what you think? Is that what he thinks?
I think those are two separate issues. I think honestly they determine the age because you put your age in when you sign.
And that's what he's about to say next. But the Senate, what he's asking is, how do you really know how old they are? Because obviously it's because you look at someone's pupils. If you're not doing that, how do you know how old they are?
I think that was a superfluous question, but the original question is quite alarming.
It's not alarming. You know, the Snapchat filters, they're filters. Everyone has them on their phone. It is nothing that's like proprietary stuff. And it's not information that's stored on the personal device, not the server.
But here's the thing, Desiree, and again, granting that, but isn't it, I never even thought about the fact that like you could be looking at something and your camera, we already know cameras can be accessed remotely, right? So the fact that I'm looking on my app at something on the screen and that my camera is looking back and checking biometric reactions that I'm having,
it could be doing
that's
two
feeding
things
into.
at once.
I'm saying whether they're doing it or not, it's possible they can be doing it, and that alone.
If you turn it on to use the filter, like you have to use the filter. Maybe okay, but I'm gonna go. Like I said, I watched.
I'm not saying TikTok. I'm just saying the technology exists. They can do that.
I'm saying also Facebook, also Google, also Apple,
also all of them. Yes, so, like, absolutely.
The way that was my point is that
this is not a passive device. This is not a passive device. This is an interactive device. People need to understand that.
No, I know.
In fact, but what you pay for is not this. When you pay your phone, you're not paying for this. You're paying for all the shit that goes on it. Like this could be anything. I mean, it's a matter of the phone is just the conduit. What they're getting is what we worry about. Better camera, better to view your eyes. And quite frankly, Des, not to dismiss what you're saying, but if it's focusing on your eyes for the sunglasses, it's focusing on your eyes. It's taking whatever input it needs to from your eyes, and then it's simply putting some silly glasses on it. So that's the after fact.
But eye shape and ratio is not pupillary reaction. It's two separate things, two separate data points, I guess, that could be collected. But what I'm saying, and maybe I don't know if maybe you missed this part, Zeus, but from the way that the senators acted and the way that Shu Cho acted, just by their attitudes and language, I'm gonna go ahead and say I kind of believe a lot of what this guy says, maybe, and because he did answer questions truthfully that maybe they didn't want to hear.
Well, but
and he also, he
may be a true believer though.
He may be, but you know what? Whatever. Because listen to this question:
does TikTok access the home Wi-Fi network?
Only if the user turns on the Wi-Fi. I'm sorry, I may not understand the.
So if I have a TikTok app on my phone and my phone is on my home Wi-Fi network, does TikTok access that network?
It will have to access the network to get connections to the internet, if that's the question.
Is it possible then that it could access other devices on that home Wi-Fi network?
Congressman, we do not do anything that is beyond any industry norms. I believe the answer to your question is no. It could be technical. Let me get back to you.
Okay, I'd appreciate it if you can answer that. Mr.
It's
Chair,
kind of
does
a-
TikTok.
Any of them can
It's
do
a bit
this.
of
It's
a
not just
vague answer.
TikTok. Look, they're boogeymanning TikTok, and I'm no special pleader for TikTok,
Can
but they're
the can the
boogeymanning TikTok. Like any of these companies could do what they're talking about if they wanted to.
there was
Yeah,
one
yeah.
there was one question was if you turn your airplane on or off airplane mode, I can't remember exactly what they said, but
Airplane
can
mode. Yeah.
can TikTok access the airplane? What?
Well, that's a dumb question. But here's an interesting point to what you're saying. Your son has an Oculus, right?
Mm-hmm.
My son has an Oculus. Those have cameras right up on the eye. Like to what you're saying, yeah, that certainly makes Facebook a hell of a lot more insidious because they can like literally be
Look right
at
right
you.
up.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, if you want to talk about like the shit that these companies do, Meta and Google are like 1,000 times more like guilty than fucking TikTok.
Well, that's
I'm
because
not
Al
saying,
Gore invented the
listen,
internet.
listen, I'm
He's
not
our
saying that
boy.
I'm not saying that there are not issues with TikTok. I'm saying the issues that are that this respect report, whatever, restrict act is
Mhm.
looking to the vehicle which they want to use to ban TikTok with, I don't think is really the issue. They also at this hearing, like I said, so there was stuff like that. There was questions about how much money he makes. There was
What
one
does
of the
that even
Congress people.
matter?
I don't know. And why the fuck would you think he would even tell you? He has no reason that he has to tell you.
Right. Exactly.
They were talking about there was one congressperson who brought in a family of a 16-year-old or whatever that was hit by a train because he committed suicide because of videos he saw on TikTok. What the fuck does that have to do
Yeah.
with data breaches?
That's
I don't know. That's a different issue.
That's
That's a
like what
different
they
issue.
tried to get Judas Priest for, right? So
There was
yeah.
there was a couple other like suicide kids dying stories and questions, and there was a lot of questions they asked him because so you can't, there's like age restrictions, so like age 8 to 13 or whatever, there's like a different TikTok experience. Age 13 to 16 or 17, there's another type of TikTok experience. Beyond that, it's like, you know,
kids are so smart these days. If they want to get like the dirty TikToks or whatever, they're gonna get them.
well, yeah, I know.
It's no different. It's no different than when we were kids and we would like go out and find that cabin out in the woods that had
Well,
all
yeah,
the
Zeus, I know that.
Playboys.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that I, as a parent, also haven't lied for my kids, so I don't have to deal with the fucking parental bullshit. I'm not saying, and I get that. But so one of the person, one of the ladies asked, like, okay, so why why is your 8-year-old not have a TikTok account? Okay, here's why. Because he says his kids live in Singapore. Singapore's government does not allow that shit to be viewed by children. American government does, and they're COPPA compliant, so it's fucking open.
Yeah.
The stage is open. So if the government is so fucking hold on, no. If the government is so worried about the kids seeing the bad things and suicides and oh my gosh, it's so terrible and propaganda and they're gonna get coerced to do things, then fucking make laws that make sense. And don't let Meta do it, but not let TikTok do it. I think it's bullshit. I think it's ridiculous.
I agree with that, but the question has to be posed. They're not willing to do it in their country, but they're more than willing to export it to other countries, which
of course
does question their credibility or their intent.
It doesn't question it. I don't think so at all, because honestly,
I think Desiree loves TikTok.
I don't really love TikTok.
I didn't realize,
I think it's stupid.
Yeah, I didn't realize that Desiree was an agent of the Chinese Communist Party until
apparently
this
I am
episode.
an agent of the Chinese Communist Party.
I mean, it's interesting. I mean, it brings a whole new perspective to the show, but
no, I actually, Desiree, I'm busting chops. I get where you're coming from, and this is more about like the rights of us to choose what we view.
And also, like, again, like I said, if Congress was so worried about those things, if they were that interested in protecting the American children or whatever it is, whatever piece of agenda that they are concerned about protecting, why are they not concerned about it with Meta and Google?
right.
Why? Why?
because they're not
But that
concerned.
kind of
Because it's
goes back to
politics.
what I said earlier. Is I'm actually for them knocking out TikTok and keeping it home, but then I have to retract or go back a little and go. Now I'm a little worried about the shit they're doing here.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah,
get
no,
rid of
but
all of it.
to be honest, I don't even give a shit about TikTok. If they ban TikTok or don't, honestly, it does not affect me or my daily life in the least. I feel bad for the people that are like, creators on there and that's their income, but they'll, I'm sure, find a different way. Clapper, they'll go down Clapper, it's fine. But like, I don't give a shit about TikTok itself. I'm just saying, like,
It's more the human rights aspect.
they don't really care about these things because
yeah. I'm just
if they
anti.
did, then they would do it with Meta or they would do it with this, but they just keep letting them fucking be discriminatory and all sorts of shit, just target.
Argument.
Like, I mean, they keep letting them do it, but for TikTok, who on face value, I mean, whatever, you got to just go with that. They don't sell the data. They have all the data, US user data is based on, stored on Oracle, which is a US company. They have different user experiences, which is more than Facebook and Instagram and maybe not YouTube, but more than those can say. I mean, like, really, TikTok might be a better product than Facebook and Instagram in itself. I'm not saying, take China out of it. I'm saying like the social media company.
No, honestly,
they might have better policies, but they're okay with having you know what I mean? Like, it just,
Yeah. No, I'm just anti-banning stuff. Like, I don't need the government to be my nanny about anything. Like, I want them to get the hell out of the way. Like, I don't understand why people want these. Look, Desiree, when you're saying these people are asking these like stupid questions, you know why? Because they have no idea what the fuck they're talking
yeah,
about.
they don't.
These are people that
they ask
they
those stupid
listen.
questions.
The people in Congress, even ones that you may like, they're like anyone else, right? Like, I know certain things about certain things, but there's a lot I have no idea about. I mean, you guys know things about nursing, but you may not know things about auto mechanics or who knows. But these people, and once they get to Washington, they get this feeling that they can talk as authorities on any topic. And it's just absurd. And it's like, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of hearing them
There were
pontificate about something that they're idiots.
Some of them were talking about, they were calling it Tic Tac.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
yeah.
It's
horrible.
Like, maybe learn the company that you're about to go into the court or the hearing about.
It's politics.
Learn
man.
the name. Like, it's
you should know the name.
Like,
it's politics.
Desiree, I'm gonna harken back to one of our very first 5 episodes, where we talked about legalizing marijuana, and I'm gonna totally brag on this one, but everybody was arguing with me at the beginning, and by the end, everybody kind of saw my point. And I gotta say that you've done something with that here, because I do tend to agree. If you're going to ban TikTok, then you need to ban everything, or you need to adjust their control over what they're doing.
Which TikTok themselves has adjusted the control. Like I said, they moved all the US data onto US soil by a US company. Like, that's where the data is stored. Because I guess Donald Trump take a 2-year step back. His proposal was TikTok's they're either getting it banned or they need to get purchased by not China, basically. Well,
right.
ByteDance was like, sorry, not for sale.
But they did bring it here and make
so
it
then so they're like, okay, well, these are the things we can do to address your concerns, America. And
well, you as far as I'm concerned, my opinion has changed. Fuck it, keep TikTok or keep everything, or more, what I would prefer is regulate all of them and not allow
or make the choice yourself as a consumer.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what though? There's a lot of idiots out there.
You can't think for other people. That's the problem.
Yeah.
You can't think for
You
other
can't
people.
say, oh, well, what about the person that is depressed and is going to watch 18 hours of suicidal videos? Well, if it wasn't
Because
I
TikTok,
get
it'd
that.
be
and plus there's
YouTube, or it'd be
yeah, and plus there's
This is
people that
where
are
my
going to think
democratic
Zeus.
roots. This is where my
Zeus.
democratic roots come into play, and I do sometimes
It's-
feel like government should be a little more.
But there's going to
I
be
know.
people out there that think you and me and Desiree are the idiots, right? So it's like, who's the idiots? You're like, well, there's some idiots out there. We need to take care of them. It's like, no, man. It's like, I trust my fellow citizen, because if you have that mentality, then there's going to be someone else saying like, man, those people on Friends of Zeus, they're idiots. I need to think
yeah,
for
for every
them.
opinion, there's opposite opinion. And one of the things that Shu Cho, I keep messing. It's a weird like
Shu
syllable.
Chu?
Show, yeah, it's a that's
Shu-
a think about it. Shu Cho, or Sho
General
Chu.
Chow?
Shit, now I don't know. Sho Chu, I think.
General Chow.
So one of the things that he said, was when they were General Chow's chicken, General Shu Chow's chicken.
I'm just guessing. I'm trying to
Yeah.
remember.
So
That's what she said.
one of the things, that was a comment that one of the senators said that Xi Jinping was the CEO of ByteDance.
Yeah.
That's not true.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that this CEO said was, they asked him about, misinformation and dangerous videos and what the fuck, he was like, look, Congressman, yes, if something is dangerous, like, somebody murders somebody, or, somebody says some actual factual wrong shit that could be dangerous, or, whatever, dangerous content gets removed. However, if you maybe want to talk about how you can make hydrochloric one out of grapes, go ahead. I mean, it's freedom of speech. Anything that's not inherently dangerous is not going to be removed.
It's interesting that you made that statement, because I was on Amazon the other day, and I guess, and this is the weird thing, and this has been going on for like 10 years, where you go to Yahoo for your Yahoo email, and over on the right, it's like talking about the shoes that you were just looking at, stuff like that.
Mhm.
But so I guess the things I'm looking at, I've been looking at like survivalist stuff lately, and all of a sudden Anarchist Cookbook comes up, which
Ooh, you should have got it.
no, it's you can get it.
Oh, I
But
thought
the
you
funny
couldn't
thing
get it.
is like 10 years ago, you were put on a list, and actually, I'm sure if you buy it, you're put on a list. But they're just like, you can buy it $9.99
Or
paperback. Oh, do you want it on your Kindle?
Or maybe it's a
Fine.
different, or maybe it's like a
No, I'm
not the
sure
real
it's the same
version.
you can still buy it.
because-
Yeah. It's not
Nah,
banned.
because they don't care, because they got you. You buy the Anarchist Cookbook, they know you bought it.
Do
Maybe
you
you didn't
know,
buy it for yourself, but they know you bought it.
have you guys heard the term geofencing with your phone? It's a marketing term. So
I've
people,
heard it, but
yeah, so
I think that has a lot to do with like the Pokemon Go and the Invictus stuff. Yeah.
well, so if you're a marketing guy and you're or girl and you're working for Ford, right? You can set up geofences around your competitors' dealerships so that
if they're
if
like in a
Zeus-
restaurant or in that vicinity or whatever.
or if Zeus walks into a Chevy dealership, I can
Fuck
put a
that.
geofence. If I'm a Ford guy, I can put a geofence around that, and I can pay so that anyone walking in with their phone into a Chevy dealership will start getting ads for Ford. You
That's
guys are-
fucked up.
It's been around for
You know what the weird
15
thing about
years.
how advertising works is, does that really work? Because I know for me, if I
Yeah.
was already at the Chevy dealership,
Well,
I'm going there
no,
'cause I know
it's
what
a
I'm
foot in the
buying.
Door.
not to
Right.
It's
just
a
look
foot in
around.
the door, and it,
So a Ford
as
app
a
or a Ford ad
salesperson-
doesn't give a shit. I don't care about that.
I'm
Ford
just
ad,
saying
because I'm
it
already about
exists.
to show out the Chevy.
It happens. I'm just saying.
Mike will appreciate what I'm going to say here, because Mike's in sales in a sense. As a salesperson, you want any way to get your foot in the door. So yes, I think it totally does have an effect. Maybe not on you.
I just would love to know the amount of people that have walked out the Chevy dealership because they got a Ford ad on.
But
I'm
they
just
don't
saying-
fucking care,
I-
because they're just worried about the one sale.
I'm just saying it exists, is what I'm trying to tell
No,
you.
I
I'm
know,
saying
I know it does.
It's
but
been
I'm
around
just,
for like 15 years. Like,
Mhm.
so if you go into Target,
Mhm.
you may start seeing ads for Walmart appear on your phone. I'm just saying that this is it's a escalation. It's a war, right? That goes on between different companies. Like they geofence their competitors and target consumers within those geographical areas. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, they can
It
target
is
people by
fascinating.
they could give target ads to people by zip code, by street name, by color, your race.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm wondering,
TikTok
Desiree,
doesn't ask your race. I'm just saying they don't ask what race you are.
when we
Facebook
were
does.
when we were just
Facebook does.
traveling, Desiree, and I'm just curious, on this topic, did you get any ads about stuff from Pennsylvania, or like did you start seeing anything on your phone, or no? I mean, I don't know, but that
I
would
don't
be
think
what
so.
I'm
I also
talking
wasn't
about.
looking, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
we were really not. We were busy drinking heavily.
but what I'm
and
saying is
partying hard,
Desiree drove
and we
further
didn't pay
than any of us, is what I'm saying. Because I've seen that sort of thing. I've seen that sort of
I
thing
didn't.
before. Like when I go to Beach House in the summer, I start getting ads for stuff related to the beach. Like, how's my phone know? The phone knows I'm at the beach because
All
someone
my
has
GPS shit is turned off.
Oh, see, that's smart. I should do
Yeah,
that.
fuck them.
I
Wow.
just don't have the
Yeah, my
patience
microphone,
to
my
be
camera, and my
constantly
GPS trackers are turned off. All of my
Turn
apps
that stuff off.
except for like Google Maps.
Mm.
And like,
I don't
Zoom.
recall anything like that when I was there. However, when I was in West Virginia like this past weekend. My kid's in like a he's actually like AU, like division basketball. Like he's actually like
So you're like in a
they are
game?
considering him
tournament?
for bigger things.
A tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah, like real basketball for 13-year-olds.
Anyway.
And I do recall that I got some stuff for sheets, which we don't have any sheets in Virginia.
Yeah,
or maybe there are, but I don't
Sheets
see them in my area.
I'm just gonna go on a tangent here. I still hear people, they say the Wawa is the shit. Quick Trip is
Wawa is
the
kind
shit.
of beast.
Whoa, wait,
Quick Trip's better than Wawa.
Is Quick Trip a tall thing? Quick Trip?
Quick Trip?
I've never heard of it.
Like Quick Trip. It's a
Quick Trip.
Quick
Okay.
Trip. It's
I've never heard of it.
It's like the Kansas like super gas station version.
Oh, okay.
But
Gotcha.
it's legit and actually far better than Wawa. I'm just saying.
Do they have 7-Elevens out there?
We've had one 7-Eleven in Wichita for as long as I can remember, but they maybe like 3 years ago they sold it, and so there's no 7-Elevens.
Listen, if 7-Eleven leaves the United States, that's the death of society.
I don't know, you gotta try Quick Trip, man.
Quick Trip? No, I'm gonna check it out. I've never heard of it. I think
well,
that's
you'll
fantastic.
get to see them in Kansas, Oklahoma, and Georgia, maybe.
Well, I just got this report.
That's a random like 7-state split.
Wait, I just got this report in. Quick Trip is the newest sponsor of the Friends of Zeus podcast. So thank you.
Go Quick Trip! Yay!
Hey, it's a QT day. Here's why I think they're far superior. Yes, they have the hot kitchen. Their food is good.
Fart superior?
They're far superior.
Oh, far superior.
They have every goddamn drink you could buy. They have they have about 14 different ices. They got all the coffees. But where they excel is they have their like checkout counter is like huge. And they always have like 4 staff members every time. It doesn't matter.
That's the key.
And it's like you snap them. Quick Trip.
You gotta keep people moving.
There's maybe like a 2-person line for about 2 minutes, like less than 2 seconds, and it's gone.
I'm all for it. Yeah, man. I hate waiting in line.
About Sheets. So you go into a Sheets in West Virginia, at least, and
hiccups.
You go up the sandwich. You go up the sandwich thing, and you order your sandwich.
Yeah.
And then they just trust you to go to the counter and pay for it. A very bizarre thing to me.
Yeah, that's how Quick Trip is.
I nearly
you get a receipt.
out. I was
you could run out the door.
Honest. They were like, it was like a $20 purchase, and they were like, he already paid. And I could have walked out with the sandwich. And
you bought a $20 sandwich?
No, it was like all the purchase.
Okay, gotcha.
But I think it was very interesting. Their trusting attitude in West Virginia.
If they're like busy, they
I'll be
had they
back.
could check mark your receipt or something. I don't
Yeah.
know, but I never go there when they're busy. They can see if you paid. Did you see the guy in the background playing Golden Tee?
Yeah, he kept looking over.
I know. I was gonna ask. I was like, I'm just gonna be like, hey, is that guy playing Golden Tee?
Yeah, what's going on over there? I'm
Is it
just
the golf
happy.
game?
Yeah,
Is it
I'm just
bags?
happy that this was like one episode where someone didn't get up in Zeus's grill about something, you know, because that's happened a few times
Mhm.
over there. Well, listen, I think this was a, you know, and that's why I think Zeus is just a great person.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like we were saying. Anyway,
I
so
can't wait to. I'm gonna listen to the last 5 minutes of this podcast and hear what you just said.
I think, unless you guys have something else, I think we have been
Yeah,
on.
I think we did a thing.
I think we've been on long enough, everybody, and I'd like to.
Things up.
I think this was a nice episode, and we'll see you next time. I think we'll see you next time on episode 114.
Yeah, and I will all wear our sunglasses at night, like Mike.
Exactly.
Okay,
Take
bye.
care,
Stop
everybody.
recording.